personally, I actually had an interest in vision science, as it turned out, even since high school. I didn't know that I was going to pursue an ophthalmology career at that time, but I was actually fascinated during a high school physics project. It was actually about optics and how actually you created an image on the retina. And to me, it was quite incredible how that image could actually be transferred or translated into vision. And so that got me into vision science early on. So even when I went to medical school later on, I actually started a vision science research project even as a first-year medical student. And eventually, as I got to learn more about clinical ophthalmology, I got excited about that as well. The opportunity to help people with their vision was a pretty wonderful opportunity, really something that was enriching. And so that's how I got down this path. So my main focus in terms of my research is in imaging and using imaging to understand more about retinal diseases, or actually I should say more broadly, ophthalmic diseases in general, because even though I'm a retina specialist, so obviously I'm a bit more retina focused, we are involved in imaging, my lab at least, in imaging related to glaucoma, cornea, the ocular surface and the like. And really what I'm most interested in is how can we use imaging, leverage that to gain insights into diseases. So understand disease mechanisms, but also understand how therapeutics work. And an important sort of area of focus for me recently is in using imaging to produce biomarkers that could be leveraged and used for the enabling of clinical trials for new therapeutics. I have to say, like, really, my vision science career, I owe a lot of it to ARVO. My first ARVO was more than 30 years ago. I came as a medical student, first time to ARVO. And I remember actually giving my first paper here at ARVO. It actually taught me how to speak publicly. I remember my knees knocking behind the podium. I was so nervous. And that experience was, I mean, I was quite awestruck. My first meeting was when the meeting was still in Sarasota. And so I had no idea what to expect. And I was quite stunned by the experience, by the interaction, by the exchange, how the most senior scientists could be there presenting a poster, and that I, as a student, could come up and talk to them. Every year since then, it's sort of shaped what I do the next year. I come back from the meeting inspired and with full of ideas and excitement to pursue things for the next year. So I look at ARVO as something that recharges my battery every year. And so because it's been so impactful to my career and meaningful to me, it only seemed appropriate, and I think, you know, it's the way it should be, to give back. And so it is obviously volunteer service, but I couldn't imagine serving for anything better than ARVO. So it's really actually, quite honestly, a great honor to be able to serve ARVO, and I've served in many different capacities over the years, but now obviously as president of the organization. Well, you know, I think ARVO is in great shape. So in one way, you don't want to rock the boat. I want to maintain our momentum. But, you know, we certainly have ambitions to achieve additional things that I do want to touch on. Now our meeting is fully back to the way it was pre-pandemic. And so now, you know, now that we're back, we're sort of back to where we were, there's a real opportunity to then be more forward thinking. And it was very exciting for me to participate in the strategic planning process for ARVO. We undergo a strategic planning process every 5 years, and we sort of set the plan for what we're going to really try to focus our efforts. And we have 4 pillars. We are a global organization. 40% of our membership is international, but there are many more vision scientists out there internationally that actually come to our meeting and participate and engage in this collaboration. And so we want to engage them. We want to break down the barriers. Some of it relates to travel expenses and the like, and we're working on that with travel grants and the like. But there are other things that we can do, working through our local chapters and the like. So that international outreach is something I really want to to focus on in my efforts and engage the broader vision science community outside of the United States as well. And I think I'm going to be able to do that because I do go to a lot of the international meetings, and I'm hoping to carry ARVO's flag or banner there and remind people about ARVO and to be engaged. Another important pillar, obviously, is improving our equity and diversity within ARVO. And I think we've made a lot of great strides in that, but we can do even better. And a lot of our process in terms of people who are elected onto the Board of Trustees and to other positions in ARVO are elected positions. And so one of the things we need to do is we need to encourage more candidates to apply. I mean, if we're going to increase the diversity of our organization, we need to have people who could serve the organization, actually apply for the position. So this requires outreach as well. So that's going to be an important area of focus. Another thing is, in the lifeblood of any organization is really the youth, the next generation coming in. And so another important plank of our strategic plan that I want to be engaged in personally as well is really in trying to develop programs specifically geared towards the members in training. And so I think you'll see more of that as well. And the final sort of really important pillar, I'm not suggesting by any means it's all we're going to try to accomplish going forward, but really is trying to be a little bit more forward-thinking and more aggressive in terms of our approach towards advocacy. So our vision scientists are only here and able to do their work because of funding. And if we don't keep that funding train going, it's going to be a big challenge. And that requires us to be advocates to the funding authorities to be able to get more funding into vision science. And I think we're going to really work hard to try to improve or increase our visibility on the advocacy front. I have to say I have a little bit of a bias. I've already said that I'm focused in the area of imaging and trying to obtain biomarkers out of imaging studies to help us understand eye diseases better. And so now we are in this era of big data, and there's a lot of technological innovation, and I'm sort of, again, very involved in that. So I have to confess that I picked a theme very near and dear to my heart. But I also think that it's applicable to most of our vision scientists, actually, in terms of if you go around as I did, going around all of the different posters and paper sessions, a lot of our field is very technology driven, driven by new innovations in technology and in artificial intelligence. So given that convergence, it seemed to me very appropriate to have that be a theme for our meeting, because there's no question that that's the era that we're in, and it really has been a transformative type of thing in terms of really allowing us to manage these huge amounts of data to gain greater insight. As I was noting, technology is an important focus. I do think that these technological innovations are going to allow us to be even more precise or detailed, I guess, in our understanding of disease with regards to imaging. I mean, one of the hot topics at ARVO this year has been this concept of optoretinography and being able to actually probe the function of individual cells. And in my own lead research group, I'll just sort of speak very personally, developed technology related to doing fluorescence lifetime imaging in single cells. And so these are examples, I don't mean to get too specific, but these are examples of actually understanding disease down to the cellular and molecular level. And I think that this kind of focus will allow us to get to where we're all thinking the future of not only vision science, but maybe clinical and medical care is going to go, which is really precision medicine, which means that you will be not sort of using a one-size-fits-all approach where you have a treatment and you say, okay, everyone just take this pill or what have you, but you'll be doing something very specific to or personalized to a particular person's situation and maybe their genetic makeup, their environmental experiences, other factors. You'll be able to actually precisely target or modify the therapy. And I think that we're going to be continuing in this journey in these next 5 years of enabling technologies and insights all down that type of path.